Get ready to witness the unbelievable and shocking events captured on surveillance cameras around the world. In this video, we present the 35 most terrifying CCTV moments ever caught on camera, showcasing incidents that will leave you in awe and disbelief. This footage is rather bizarre. All you see at first is a door with some items dropped in front of it. This does not look like something to be concerned about. But when you take a closer look, you start to see something so terrifying it would scare you to your bones. A person's face is on the other side of the door and the eyes are open. It is not clear whether it is just the head or the whole body, but something is definitely certain. That is scary and is not even supposed to be there. The only way this footage you're about to see would make any sense is if a horror movie came alive. This video shows a strange creature captured in the woods in the dark of night. The creature has a weird body and is making eerie sounds. The creature seems to know it's being captured on camera, but that's not the scariest part of it all. The creature suddenly disappears and reappears closer to the camera. This time, it becomes how big and monstrous this being is as its head towers over the trees. This happens twice as the strange being gets closer each time. If that isn't scary, then nothing is. This video looks like footage from way back. The ladies are dressed to represent a time that is way back.
This video was taken in 1930.
But if you look at the video, you would notice something scary. One of the ladies in the video holds up something to her ears and starts talking. At first it looks like nothing is wrong, but when you look closely you notice something scary. The lady is using a cell phone. Now that looks like some time traveling. Cell phones didn't exist by that time, so it's really strange to see one there. This next footage is the kind of nightmare you get after watching Annabelle. This strange lady walks up to the doorbell cam of this house, knowing fully well it's working. What follows is as creepy as the looks of the lady herself. She stands in front of the doorbell and turns her neck from side to side while smiling like a character from a horror movie. Her smile gets wilder and darker as she stands in front of the doorbell. After a few moments, she feels satisfied with her brief horror act and walks away from the door. This video starts out very normal, but it doesn't take much to discover there is something weird going on. In the video, people are going and coming as they pass through this tiny corridor. Two men are seated in the corridor when suddenly the little table at the end of the room moves all by itself. One of the men seated in the corridor goes to call someone who should handle the situation. When the person gets there, this happens. The table moves again, and nobody waits to find out why. All the men run away. This video gets as bizarre as possible. Three kids are seated on the floor and playing some cards. This goes on for a while when suddenly one of them falls to her face and is pulled away by some unseen force. The other kids try to help, but can't. So they do what any normal human will do. They run away and hide in a room afraid of the sinister event that just unfolded before their eyes. But that was just the beginning of the beginning. The little girl who was pulled away suddenly crawls forward on all fours into the frame and tries to get into the room where the others are hiding. This man felt like there was a ghost in his house, so he decided to catch the ghost in action. So he decided to find out. He sprinkled some house power around the floor of his room. He made sure to distribute it around the area he usually noticed activity. So he placed a camera, and you wouldn't believe what he found out. Something invisible walked into the room and was leaving footprints on the floor. The footprints continued all the way to some equipment, and then this happened. The equipment toppled over like it was pushed by someone. This man is having the wildest of experiences in his house. Some force is disturbing him and doing some really wild stuff. Here is the first thing he noticed.
This man is being haunted by some sort of demon. It all started when he heard something coming from...
There would be activity in his toilet even when he wasn't around the area, and when he checked, there'll be no one there. Then things escalated.
Escalated into things moving by themselves and even the guitar playing itself.
Hello?
He would see objects moving all by themselves around the house, and even his guitar would play all by itself. But what's most shocking is the final stage of this activity.
Endlessly at nothing, and his lights began to flicker on and off.
He would notice his dog barking at nothing, and his lights would just flicker on and off. Now that's some wild, weird stuff. In this video, this guy is walking down the road when this happens.
Security cameras that I cannot explain. This guy goes down, and all of a sudden...
Somebody comes behind him and attacks him, pulling him to the ground. At best, it appears like this guy is overpowered and helpless, but that's when this happens.
Creature or something comes up from him.
Suddenly, something comes out from the guy on the floor and attacks the attacker. Almost immediately, the thing goes back inside from where it came. The attacker was stunned.
See him and then goes back in his body. Is this...
He simply ran away. This man walks up to the doorbell of this house, and this was the conversation captured on the doorbell cam.
No, I am Steven. I'm looking for Fifi.
The man insisted he was looking for someone there named Fifi, but the house owner said it was the wrong house. Instead of leaving, the man asked the woman the weirdest question ever.
So, you don't want to have
He asked her if she wanted sex. The woman threatened him that her husband was standing by with a gun.
In the living room with
This response must have put some fear in the man. He knew immediately this wasn't a house to play games, and so decided he had to leave. This woman was trying to get something done in her kitchen when the weirdest thing happened. The little ladder in the corner moved all by itself. When she went there to get it up, the ladder fell further, scaring her away. After a few moments, she decided to get the ladder back up. After doing this, she got back to what she was doing, finished it up, and was leaving the kitchen. That was when the more word stuff happened. The trash can that was in the kitchen moved all by itself. The woman freaked out and ran away. It's the dead of night near a forest, and this doorbell cam captured the most sinister event ever. This tall man-like figure is seen holding a girl and walking with her. Just the fact that it's late at night alone makes this already disturbing, but what follows next is absolutely more scary. The figure led the girl into the forest, and they disappeared into it. It is said that the girl is well known in that locality, and that she has not been seen since the night of that incident. Now that's some scary thing. This scene gets more creepy as you think about it. This old lady is seen moving towards this house. The scene is captured in the doorbell at night, so it's not so clear. There seems to be something in her hand. It's not so visible until she comes close enough to reveal exactly what it is. This grandma is holding a knife and walking weirdly and suspiciously towards the door of this house. We are not shown exactly what follows, but you cannot help but think of a million dark possible outcomes. At least it's certain she is not returning the knife. This man and his friend decided to go camping in the woods and had the most bizarre experience.
In this 2021 YouTube video, this YouTuber and his friend are out in the woods vlogging their camping experience.
They got to their camping location and did everything to make the space comfortable for them. After that, they had dinner and did some other activities before going to sleep.
Everything is going well and they're set up for the night. They then have dinner and then go to sleep.
They were awakened by night. The reason is going to definitely scare you. Some weird sound was being made by some being. It's still not certain what the being was, but I don't think anyone was in a hurry to find out that night. This couple were sleeping at night when suddenly, something otherworldly happened. The blanket on the sleeping couple was pulled off by some invisible hand. The lady woke up and things got more paranormal. She stood up and then got back on the bed. She started making weird movements with her body while she was on the bed. All this time, her partner didn't wake up despite all the movement. When she was done, she slept back. That was when her partner finally woke up. In all, he was oblivious of the whole situation. This is one of the most paranormal things you would see on the internet today.
This is really scary.
This man was cleaning his pool at night. All was going well. Suddenly, he froze in motion, dropping the cleaning tool. It's not visible at first what happened, but this footage explains it. A dark figure can be seen at this man's right side. He started acting this way when the dark figure appeared. After a while, someone comes to him to help him. That's when it all goes berserk. He begins to vibrate and immediately goes on all fours and starts crawling. This group of friends went to a carnival. There were 3 in number and just wanted to hang out and have a bit of fun. While at the carnival, the 3 friends sat together and recorded themselves laughing and having fun. It all looks good until you notice something bizarre.
These girls were in a carnival game. The strange thing is that
The friend holding the camera appears in the frame, and that is when you discover something that's scary and strange.
there were only 3. Although for people appear in the
There are 4 people within the frame, and according to sources, nobody knows who the last girl is. Some are claiming she was a ghost. Now that's very scary. This guard was stationed outside but was sleeping when something weird started happening. A strange figure crawled into the frame and crouched in front of the man. For a moment, it wasn't clear what was going to happen next. The being looked at the man briefly and then did something much more scary. The strange being turned away and started climbing the wall, and something that looked more like a ghost started moving at the top of the house. These 2 creepy beings at the dead of night, and that poor guard is still sleeping. Let's hope nothing terrible happened to him. In this video, this young girl arrives home really late and is trying to get inside.
Arriving home late one night in a hurry due to being followed by 2.
Immediately she gets in, you realize she just escaped some serious evil. A man comes out of nowhere. He most likely had been following the girl. He tries to open the door from outside but discovers it is locked. From within, the girl notices this and calls her mom for help. Then they threaten to call the cops. This is what happened after.
What?
The guys are threatened and they run away from the house immediately, disappearing into the night. This footage is about to show you something that will give you the creeps.
Watch as an unknown woman approaches a house, oblivious to the fact that she's being filmed.
This doorbell cam captures a lady behaving in a very strange way. She approaches the house, definitely unaware of the doorbell cam. She gets to the gate and instead of walking in normally, she does this.
She starts to move her hands in an inexplicably strange manner. You'll be left wondering.
She bends down and begins to move her hands weirdly as she passes through the gateway. She keeps this up until she has completely passed. Then she stands up and disappears from the footage. While it's not clear exactly what she is doing, that looks terribly weird and scary. Bending like that isn't normal behavior. This video takes scary to another level. This man is sleeping at this gate at night when this happens.
When this CCTV camera catches this, watch this.
A weird creature crawls into the frame and faces the man for a while. You would be wondering what happens next, but this won't even cross your mind. Suddenly, the stool close to the man starts moving and an object close to him is suspended in the air. This happens twice. The man stirs from his sleep but doesn't wake up. The strange being just walks on, leaving the man sleeping. That man is lucky he never woke up to see that strange being. What you're about to see will scare the hell out of you. In this video, you would almost be convinced that nothing serious is happening here. However, when you look closer, you begin to realize there's something worth being terrified about in the video. At first, It looks like this building is in the background of a blue wall. However, when a close look is taken, you see the danger. That's no wall. It is the oven, and a tsunami is building real quick and fast. At the moment, it's not really moving seriously yet as it's still gathering. You can imagine how devastating this will be. This babysitter is about to have the worst scare of his life. The girl he is babysitting tells him that one of her dolls actually moves when you play hide and seek with it.
Wait, what? When does it move?
The babysitter decides to try it out. He places the doll in position and goes into hiding. He tries to peep to see what's happening. Then,
seek with it.
Oh my god.
The dog in the house breaks the activity by coming to the man. The man was scared at first, but when he realized it was the dog, he calmed down. Later that night, he sees a scary sight.
He realized the dog was trying to protect him.
The dog is growling at the doll, and when you look carefully, the doll has actually changed position. Scary, right? In this video, you are about to see the creepiest and most scary moment you would ever find captured in front of a mirror. This footage shows this girl staring at the camera while what is supposed to be her reflection is staring straight at her from the mirror. If you thought that was the most scary moment, think again. The supposed reflection suddenly changes form for a split moment and appears normal again. It could only mean one thing. There's some strange being at work within that room. If that doesn't scare you, then nothing would. This officer came to this house when the occupant called the police. She came there and saw the door open, so she called in the police to investigate the issue. When the cop got inside, it was all normal at first. Then weird stuff started happening.
The young lady assures the police officers that there is no one in the house.
The doors in the house started opening anytime the officer got close to them. That's quite scary a thing even for a police officer. And if that wasn't enough, the officer would hear footsteps behind him, but whenever he turned to see, there would be nobody there. Now that's really scary.
First it seems like an empty house, but as the officer moves on, unexplained things begin to happen.
This woman is walking on her own down the lonely road. Unknown to her, she is being followed. This man follows her all the way to a place where she is secluded, and then he strikes,
letting Lorraine get plenty of distance between them before he comes out to continue following her.
He gets a hold of her and leads her away to a place where no one would be able to interfere. We do not know exactly what happened, but here's what we do know. This man came out carrying nothing but a big bag. Is it possible that he already killed the lady and put her in the bag?
Maybe carrying her body out in a bag on his back. One much too big to be anything else, though nondescript enough to be carrying it out in broad daylight.
This video would send chills down your spine. Due to a series of killings that had happened around an area, the police set up a trap. They placed a mannequin and left it in the public, covering it with blankets.
They set up a mannequin under a blanket, making it seem like someone was sleeping there.
This suspect comes along thinking it was a person. What he does would shock you.
Shane Schindler wastes virtually no time attacking the man under the blanket and walks.
He begins to use a hammer on the mannequin, but soon he discovers it's a mannequin and tries to run. But the police are already there and they take him in. That's how a scary serial killer was cut.
He's surrounded by armed police officers who were at that moment poised and ready to apprehend him.
In this video, we see this teacher stepping out to use the restroom, not knowing it would be her last moments.
A woman can be seen walking and waving at someone.
As she steps out of the class to the restroom, something weird happens. One of her students follows her into the bathroom. He goes on to rape her, and he doesn't stop there. He stabs her to death.
Her to the bathroom, raped and stabbed her multiple times with a box cutter.
In an attempt to hide the gruesome crime, he did something more inhumane. He put the body of the teacher in the bin and tried to roll it out of the school before he was caught. Now that's just mess it up. This night guard was patrolling the area alone when something weird started to happen.
Loaded a video taken from a security camera where a man can be seen.
He started behaving like there was somebody else there with him. He walked up to open the door like he was letting someone in and ended up chit-chatting with none in particular. Then this happens.
He sees someone we can't see.
The other persons in the security team contacted him and asked him why he was chit-chatting all by himself. Upon hearing that, he ran out of the building. According to him, he was talking to an old lost lady all along. Apparently only he could see the lady. Now that's scary.
He runs off the building after the horrifying realization.
This man is trying to contact an unseen being. He is seen in the video wearing a blindfold as he conjures and speaks to the being. In line with the video, he claimed he could already hear the footsteps of the spirit.
Can you make a noise? Can you do something to let me know that you're here with me now?
So he decides to go a step further than hearing. He wanted to feel something, so he asked. Well, you would not believe what happened next. The man was sitting there waiting when suddenly he shot back in fear and even removed his blender. It's just likely this guy got way more than the paranormal stuff he wanted.
Stand right.
This DJ was trying to pack up for the night when something dark started happening. He heard a woman screaming repeatedly in a way that is so scary it's difficult to ignore it. On close listening, it is clear that the woman is crying for help, but instead of helping her, they do something else. They run away. You might think this is cruel until you discover this. The woman wasn't injured in any way. It looked more like a trap. A man is trying to get a door open because of the sounds he can hear. When he finally opens the door, what you find is a lifetime shocker. It was a doll holding and shocking a person. The man asked the victim to kick the doll. Here's what happened. The person kicked it, freeing himself from the hold of that Chucky. The doll immediately disappeared into a nearby room while the guy checked his wounds. It was such a scary scene. This man is walking across the road at a really far distance. He is far away from the end of the road, so it's unlikely he could do anything to affect movement at the end of the road. However this happens, something is seen moving across the road on the other side. This is definitely not the man, nor his shadow. It's amazing and creepy at the same time. Only God knows what was moving. This video footage is full of the strangest beings ever caught on camera. This first one was captured along a bridge as it went across the road. It looked like an alien as it had tentacles. If that was scary, wait for the next.
It seems to show an alien creature crossing the road.
Someone saw this creature around the river. It looked like a mere man, but when he tried to get close to it, the creature jumped back into the sea.
This merman-looking creature was caught one day on the coast of the USA. The creature looks like a male mermaid.
The next one is both baffling and scary. This ape-like creature was found by some persons in a swampy area. Its looks and behavior were scary enough, so the people ran away. Which did you think was most scary?
That's when they heard a noise and spotted this swamp monster.
This woman leaves alone with her daughter. So one day she hears her daughter talking to someone. She goes to call on her daughter, and what she sees will scare the hell out of you. She sees her daughter coming out, but she's not alone.
Lily, come here.
There is a dark presence that's quite taller than the daughter walking in front of her. The woman is confused as she asks the child who she was talking to. There's nothing more scary than thinking about your kid with ghosts or something.
Lily, who were you playing with?